After 6 months, one of poker's most controversial figures is finally breaking his silence, and it's somehow even worse than you'd expect.
I'm not even allowed in Hustler Casino because I was the sacrificial lamb for the casino. How about them apples?
As the co-founder of Hustler Casino Live, Nick Vertucci, along with Ryan Feldman, helped build one of the biggest cash game shows in the world, attracting celebrity guests like Mr. Beast, Neymar, Phil Ivey, and more. But about 6 months ago now, everything came crashing down for him as he was forced to exit HCL and sell his 51% equity in the company in an extremely embarrassing fashion. But if you ask him now, it's supposedly what he wanted all along, as he hopped on a random Twitter or X Spaces the other night to tell his side of things.
This is ultimately what I wanted when I started building it, was to have an exit strategy within 5 years. And the only difference is I would be playing on my show if they didn't raw dog me out. They didn't raw dog me out.
Raw dog you out? Probably not the best choice of words for a guy who was accused of using his position of power to make unwanted sexual advances towards women on the show, like in the case with Julia, who was the first to come forward with text where Nick asked if she'd be playing, and when she replied with yes, he followed up by asking for a, quote, pregame preview, as in send him explicit images so he could, quote, work it out of his system before playing with her later. Yeah. Gross. His use of orange fruit emojis and high tea levels quickly turned into a punchline across the poker world.
I watch every single podcast.
Brad, what's your commentary on the play at this lovely table?
Not enough women at this table. Can't be a manly man anymore with this society we live in. You can't even sexually harass women. You can't even sexually harass women anymore? Oh, come on.
What a shame, Vertucci. Guess you'll be out of a job.
I'm Vertucci today. My VPIP, if it ever gets above 15%, let me know. So I'll stop playing hands. Right now it's 0, so I'm perfect.
Just phenomenal.
Soon after Julia came forward, more women began speaking up. I covered these stories in a previous video, but the one that may have sealed Vertucci's fate involved a former HCL dealer named Lauren. While the exact details never came out, Julia claimed that Nick harassed Lauren to the point she lost her job. And judging by how Nick talks about her, even up to today, that story doesn't seem too far-fetched.
Lauren is just emotionally unstable and made some bad decisions.
Bad decisions? Like reporting you? I mean, this is not a good look, Nick. So if you were hoping for an apology during Vertucci's long-awaited return to the spotlight, don't hold your breath.
I'm not going to apologize for sending it because I didn't send it to harass her. That's not my game if I'm trying to pick someone up. Okay, Julia at the time was my friend. That's it, okay?
She was just a friend that I was asking out and that I was trying to get nudes from. Not a big deal. This was classic Vertucci. No remorse, no accountability, and maybe worst of all, he still thinks he is the victim.
It's the corporate office. It's just her and some CEO stiff that had to do PR, you know, and I became the sacrificial lamb, and they made it a lot worse for me because they thought they had to go that way. I'm in kind of a time warp, if you will, because I think today's society is fucking horseshit. I think the Me Too movement is horseshit.
Let's break down Vertucci's big comeback because apparently no one else will. I mean, seriously, no one talked about this, even after weeks. Which brings up another topic altogether related to restoring the Vertucci image. Sounds crazy, I know, but stay tuned for later. To start things off, he claims the punishment did not fit the crime.
The punishment did not fit the crime. One text out of context, which I have the rest after that, and one accusation should take a guy and spit him out of the whole community just because, you know, like, come on, I never was popular. I love Trump. I believe in God. Not popular in the poker community. You know, people throw a right, I throw a left and a right back. And, you know, I don't play the game, so.
So, yeah, we are meant to believe that after all this time and Vertucci's reputation absolutely ruined, he has the rest of the text between him and Julia that will then reveal the truth and free him of any wrongdoing. I just don't buy it, as it just doesn't make sense, like a lot of things Vertucci will continue to say in this video. For example, in one breath, he goes from saying he could care less about Julia and Lauren.
But I just want to go on record. Like, I'm not here to bash anyone. I'm not here to blame anyone. I'm not here to talk shit about Lauren, Julia, Veronica. I don't care enough to do that. I really don't. And it's funny because I don't really hate any of them. I should, to be honest with you, but I really don't.
To literally 10 minutes later saying this.
I'm on no warpath against Julia. Like, I'm on no warpath against Lauren. None. Like, zero. I mean, if I'm being really honest, Julia's just a nasty person. That I don't mind saying, because I will say that if asked. Lauren is just emotionally unstable and made some bad decisions. But she felt her back was against the wall. I'll talk about that later when I actually talk about it.
Nasty person and emotionally unstable, suggesting he should hate them. Not exactly nice. Moving on to others closely involved, Nick speaks on his relationship status with co-founder Ryan Feldman, as well as his podcast co-host Veronica Brill.
I presume you're still on friendly terms with Ryan, so I figured you might,
Well, that's the second bet you would lose.
Oh, shit, okay.
As you know, I fucking can't stand that fucking Veronica.
I don't know. She lost a good friend. If I'm friends with someone, I'm pretty loyal, but that's okay. But I thought I had some real good friendships, and, you when that water's coming on board, man, those fucking rats jump off, So it's really funny because everyone said, like I used my place to, to use people or whatever. Actually, and I'm not a victim. I don't believe in that shit. But actually, I think it's kind of the other way around in the sense that, a bunch of scaredy cats,
Vertucci talks about how much loyalty means to him, even admitting it can get stupid, without realizing it would have also been really stupid for Ryan Feldman and others to continue defending his alleged actions.
I'm a foxhole guy. Like if you're my partner or you're my friend or you're my family, I'll fucking go to war with you, probably to a point of stupidity. Because I can't turn my back on someone that I like. Like, I just can't live with it. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. If it was someone else that was playing on HCL and this happened to them, and I was tight with them, and I believed them, or I just thought it was bullshit, I'd fucking go back to back. I'd probably go down with the fucking shit. There was no family over at HCL. It wasn't a family. I thought it was. Wasn't.
Despite revealing he signed 2 NDAs that prevent him from speaking on certain things, like the people he most loathed, his words, not mine, he did not hold back when it came to one.
Well, I gotta be honest with you. There's 3 people in the poker industry that I loathe through this. I mean, I'll say one of the names. One of the names is Liz Flint. She's fuck her. Like, someone snapped that and sent it to her.
I don't know who that is.
That's the owner of Hustler Casino, Larry Flint's wife.
Oh, wow.
The casino turned on me. She's a fucking 2 foot tall, doesn't know shit about running a business. Larry was the brains. He passed away in 2021. She walks around, doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. She's like Mr. Magoo over there bumping into all the shit. So, that'll be a good one, man. People will fucking love that because that's old Vertucci, right?
Old Vertucci. Right. He closes things out with some of the highest level cope you could ever imagine, describing how what happened wasn't all that big of a deal. And as mentioned before, he really got what he wanted all along. A big bag of cash.
If somebody would have said to me 6 months ago, hey, we're going to ruin your poker reputation and you can't play in your show anymore, but here's this bag, like the bag I got, I'd have fucking signed it. Like, you just have to. So, in retrospect, it was a miracle.
In retrospect, it was a miracle. This guy is something.
I wouldn't change it. That's so weird, but I really wouldn't wind back the clock and do it different. I just don't believe in that. And I know all my mistakes. I never asked to be in the public eye. I just wanted to fucking start a poker show.
And of course, he has no regrets, but he does say he never asked to be in the public eye, which, as we know, is just the weakest and most nonsensical excuse of all time. You were one half of a poker show millions of people watched, and on top of that, you had a separate podcast. It's okay to want the attention like you claim you didn't, but just be honest, you did. I am curious as to who the other 2 people Vertucci, quote, loathes are.
You'd be shocked at who I do. There's 3.
Maybe one day we will find out, maybe not. Vertucci even then describes playing poker in public and no one caring.
Want to know something? I haven't watched one hand of HCL since October 5th. Not one hand.
Not one? How about this one from the third HCL $1 million game?
This wouldn't be happening under the Vertucci era.
Is Vertucci still involved?
No. He's having a game now at the bike right now.
At the bike?
I think so.
What happened with Vertucci here?
You didn't hear about what happened?
I live in Europe, bro. I'm not following. Keeping track.
There was a sexual harassment issue.
Oh, yeah. So he got sexual harassment for real? Against Ryan?
He didn't get sexually harassed.
He sexually harassed Ryan?
No, one of the dealers.
They didn't disclose that part.
It's like, oh, Nick got sexually harassed. Fuck, that's brutal. Magic got him.
I mean, you show up in those tight shirts all the time. I feel like at some point you just...
I'm not involved in this conversation anymore.
Vertucci's walking around peacocking his nipples and stuff.
Ryan, got some mics. I don't want to be involved.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I think when the show started, Ryan was hoping, hey.
I do remember something about him saying, like, he did something to someone, and then he was like, oh, sorry, my T levels are really high or something.
So you did know what happened?
It was like a while back, though, yeah? That was a couple years ago.
No, this was like a year ago. Not even. Really? Yeah.
I'm trying to lean out of the picture.
I hope the camera's only on Aralibus.
I guarantee it is not.
Fuck. It is not. I don't want to be a part of this.
Part of what? We're just recounting hustler history. It's part of the lore of it's part of the allure and the mystique of the game. It's the history of the game.
But right now, I just got back from Vegas a couple weeks ago. I was there. I played at the Aria for 2 or 3 days straight in MJ's game. Went and visited those guys. They're still my buddies. And, nobody gave a shit, Like, honestly, I didn't know what was going to happen if I was going to get people fucking throwing I was going to say tomatoes, but let's go with oranges for the fucking, just for the fun of it. But no, man, I was received well by everyone that I already knew, and some people I was curious.
Yeah, so Nick spent a couple days in Vegas and felt like everything was the same. But I think what he fails to recognize is that people aren't going to go up to him and tell him in his face what they really think. It's been many, many, many months. The ship has sailed, and there's no saving his reputation. Who knows? Maybe he's got a wild card that he's been just holding on to all this time. But my guess is it's just going to be more things that are irrelevant and do not matter. But he does sound like he has plans to try to return to poker in some capacity, which would certainly be interesting.
But yeah, and after I do my thing, it might be a month, it might be 2 weeks, it might be 3 more months. I every time I'm about to do it, and I'm glad I've waited, something else comes up, and I hear something, so it's kind of nice. I'm just gathering all my thoughts. I have my bearings way more than I did 2 months ago. And but once I do that, if I come back in and you guys want to ask me shit and talk, I'll do that. I just want to do my thing first,
No, we don't really know. But if you want to stay in tune with the Nick V situation, be sure to hit the subscribe button, as I am sure more will come.
I don't bend the knee.